Welcome to this lecture on use of digital activism. This lecture is a part of your paper on news and society. In this module, we'll talk about how to examine the way in which digital media has evolved as a tool for activism to catalyze social and political change. How to understand the theoretical framework that explains the concept of digital activism. How to analyze the socio-cultural influence of digital activism through Indian and global case studies and examples. Introduction. According to the World Development Report 2016, the following statistics define how the internet is used on a single day. Internet uses of a single day. 8.8 million YouTube videos are watched. 168 million photographs are posted on Instagram. 803 million tweets are posted every day. 4.2 billion Google search take place. 207 billion emails are sent. 152 million Skype calls are made. 36 million purchases take place on Amazon. 2.3 billion GB of web traffic is recorded. These are mind-boggling figures. In the book Filter Bubble, Ellie Perisser states that almost 5 billion gigabytes of data is produced every day. The Internet World Stats Report published in June 2016 states that the internet penetration in India is at 37%. However, this 37% amounts to 462 million internet users, and percentage growth on the number of users between the years 2000 and 2016 is 9,143%. If we analyze these figures, we realize that these are unprecedented in the history of digital technologies. The digital medium is not just a technological platform, but an organic forum where social, cultural, and political narratives get structured and argued. What is digital activism? Digital media is not bound by any geographic or physical boundaries. Hence, the participation can be global. The increasing popularity of social media, Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, among others, has made it possible for people to come together online to represent a cause, register dissent, and even organize protest. Using the digital medium, multimedia, internet, smartphones to strengthen social movements by means of providing new tools and capacities to not only support but also transform the way in which activists can interact with one another and other stakeholders can be referred to as digital activism. Culturalpolitics.net defines digital activism as the website. Culturalpolitics.net defines digital activism as under Web 2.0 has become a major site of political and social movement activism. This includes much traditional organizing work, recruiting members, planning demonstrations and other events, educating publics, writing letters, or in this case often emails to politicians and so on. Such work is sometimes called net roots organizing in contrast to the grassroots kind, and has in many cases merged well with traditional modes of movement activism. In addition to augmenting older modes of organizing, digital activism also includes forms unique to cyberspaces, such as alternative online news sites, web meeting, discussions, spaces, cultural jamming, hacktivism, and other forms of digital civil disobedience, and the use of tweeting, flash mobbing, and other new media modes during protest events. Case study of December 2012. The horrific gang rape of a young girl in December 2012 in New Delhi had sparked nationwide protest. The barbaric crime was covered extensively not just by Indian media but also international media. The cry for justice for the wronged woman, who later succumbed to injuries, got people from different walks of life together, and multiple campaigns ran across the digital medium. In May 2017, the Supreme Court upheld the verdict of the lower court and awarded death penalty to the 4 convicts for this heinous crime. Before we enter into the discussion on understanding digital activism, let's see what can be referred as digital activism. Understanding digital activism. Several terms have been used interchangeably to talk about the concept of digital activism. Some of them are e-activism, internet activism, e-advocacy, click activism, slacktivism, cyber activism, digital campaigning, electronic advocacy, online organizing, e-advocacy. In the 2013 book Digital Activism in Asia reader, Nishant Shah states that digital turn has opened up a range of social and political rights-based discourse, practices and movements where populations are holding their governments and countries responsible, accountable and culpable in the face of personal and collective loss and injustice. The rise of digital activism can be attributed to many factors. While traditional practices of activism are dependent upon huge amount of organizational efforts, the digital medium and internet connectivity ease the process of organization significantly. Support for digital campaigns comes from across the borders and nationalities. Digital medium serves as an alternative to the mainstream medium. Therefore, the voices of the marginalized, subjects and areas ignored by the mainstream media and even the issues ignored by governments and legal systems have the potential to be mainstreamed through digital advocacy and activism. 7 aspects that shape digital activism. Journalist and author Nancy Woods describes 7 aspects that shape digital activism. These are transmedia storytelling, hacktivism, mobile phones, citizen journalism, collective intelligence, tactical media technique, and trolling. Transmedia storytelling. Let us look at each of these concepts individually. Transmedia storytelling. Digital activism uses the combination of multiple platforms to discuss an issue. While social media like Facebook can be used to create communities, Twitter can be utilized to get popular voices speak about the subject from a position of authority. Transmedia storytelling. Additionally, the usage of blogs, photographs and videos can add considerable visual detailing to the whole discussion. Once the issue catches significant attention, flash mobs and protest rallies can be organized further to keep strengthening the momentum. The multi-platform and multi-dimensional nature of digital campaigns offers strong basis to capture attention and participation from multiple stakeholders in diverse ways. Hacktivism. Woods discusses the digital process movement following the Delhi gang rape and cites the example of hacking of important websites, where the messages to bring justice to the victim were put up instead. While hacking is an illegitimate mechanism to draw attention and is fraught with problems, yet a lot of digital activism campaigns use it as a means to garner focus. Mobile phones. In a 2016 research study, Ray argues that Indians are harnessing the power of digital and social media to further social causes and political concerns. The researcher explains that a very high penetration of mobile phones where the internet facilities can be utilized in vernacular languages is one of the primary reasons for this trend. A report on livemint.com states that approximately 77% of urban users and 92% of rural users access internet on their mobile phones. Mobile phones have therefore assumed a significant position to facilitate public participation in shaping social and political discourses. Citizen journalism. This is another important aspect of digital activism. The Oxford Dictionary defines citizen journalism as the collection, dissemination, and analysis of news and information by the general public, especially by means of the internet. In the era dominated by user-generated content, when even mainstream news media are sourcing news from the general public, citizen journalism is instrumental in defining digital activism. It represents participatory and democratic values which are core to the concept of digital activism. Collective intelligence. When focused on a certain campaign, the social media in particular can offer the scope of varied and rich discussion around a topic. Experts, scholars, activists, and other people can contribute to the discourse in a very constructive way. For example, a digital campaign on female feticide can create multiple levels of discussions and exposes the public not just to this social evil but its foundational ideological meanings like patriarchy and misogyny. Tactical media techniques. As explained earlier, the multiplicity and the variety of digital platforms also make them amenable to be adapted to create different kinds of content. Digital activism can tactfully leverage this versatility to create different versions and threads of content. This advantage is only possible with the digital media and can therefore create extremely emphatic messages. Trolling. One of the most problematic aspects of digital activist campaigning is the menace of trolls. Since the internet offers a free and democratic platform and also permits anonymity or pseudonyms during interactions, a lot of activists who uses the digital platform, especially social media, end up facing significant criticism which can at times be indecent and even abusive. Hence, trolling is one of the sore points to handle when running a digital activist campaign. Theories of activism for digital. Theories are used to explain different phenomena. Social theories explain different dimensions of the society. They help us understand different social phenomena by describing, exploring, and explaining their different aspects. The following theoretical concepts could explain digital activism in diverse ways. Technological determinism. Marshall McLuhan was a Canadian scholar who theorized the concept of technological determinism. In an era where most media theories were explaining the ill effects of media, McLuhan's theory described a very positive status to media. The major premise of this theory was that a society's technology drives the development of its social structure and cultural value. It was a powerful theoretical conceptualization of the relationship between technology and society. McLuhan emerged as the oracle of electronic age in 1960s. He analyzed the impact of electronic media on culture and society. McLuhan firmly believed and propelled ideas on transformative powers of media technology in an era moving from the print domain to the electronic domain. He, however, did not dwell on the issues concerning exploitation or centralized control. His theory focused on implications of abandoning print media in favor of electronic media. McLuhan said, new forms of media transform our experiences of ourselves and our society. This influence is ultimately more important than the content that is transmitted in the messages. His statement, "The medium is the message," forms the basis of the theory of technological determinism. McLuhan believed the media to extend sight, hearing, and touch through time and space. However, the impact of this phenomena was left unsaid by him. All these speculations were made when radio and television had started out, so they were phenomenal. Cultural theorists, however, criticized McLuhan's assertions. Social scientists could not empirically verify them either. However, his theoretical framework resonates in the current era. Inundated with new media technologies, digital activism is based on the new media and technological infrastructure. Hence, McLuhan's concept of technological determinism provides a conceptual basis to the same. Network societies. Manuel Castells, a Spanish sociologist, theorized the concept of network societies. Castells stated, a network society is a society whose social structure is made of networks powered by microelectronics based information and communication technologies. By social structure, I understand the organizational arrangements of human in relationships of production, consumption, reproduction, experience, and power expressed in meaningful communication coded by culture. A network is a set of interconnected nodes. A node is the point where the curve intersects itself. A network has no center, just nodes. Nodes may be of varying relevance for the network. Castells explains that we have always existed in societies with a political, social, historical, economic or cultural context. In the era defined by digital technologies, these societies have got configured on information and communication technology networks. Hence, Castells defines these as network societies. Any social movement or advocacy initiative can now be organized on the digital network. Hence, the concept of network societies explains the structural and functional aspects of digital activism. Social movement theory. Skocpol in 1979 argued that revolutions are the outcomes of complex interactions between social and political structural conditions. Baltimore in 1979 stated that a social movement is a collective endeavor to promote or resist change in the society of which it forms part. On the basis of their objectives, Aberle categorized social movement as transformative, reformative, redemptive, and alternative. Transformative social movements are aimed at bringing a social or political transformation. Reformative movements are aimed at bringing justice to a specific issue. Redemptive movements are usually conducted by religious organizations and may have inherent problems. Alternative movements are aimed to bring about behavioral changes in individuals. These are indicative categories, and social movements could combine multiple objectives. Digital activism is based on furthering social movements. Hence, this theory explains the dynamics of digital activism. Now we will see some case studies. India Against Corruption, Anna Hazare's social and political movement in 2012 titled India Against Corruption was mobilized using digital media technologies. Social media and mobile phones became the instruments to mobilize public opinion as well as a platform where people voiced their opinions and provided support to this movement. Text messages, emails, and missed calls on mobile phones on the common people's phones not only created awareness and buzz but motivated people to participate in the movement. Celebrities were constantly tweeting and posting about their support to the movement on social media. This movement is one of the most contemporary examples of digital activism. Arab Spring. 4 dictators, that of Tunisia, Egypt, Libya, and Yemen, were brought down as a result of social movements in these countries. While the mainstream media was prohibited in these countries, citizens used the power of internet and mobile phones to convey to the world the stories of their struggle and resistance. The Arab Spring or the Jasmine Revolution proved that the internet, mobile phones and applications such as Facebook, Twitter and other social media made the difference. Digital media provided the important news tools that allowed social movements to accomplish political goals that had been unachievable in the past. Occupy movement. The digital communication activism in that rocked American capitalism in 2011 and 12 was known as Occupy Wall Street. In their 2013 research study, Conover et al. State that Occupy users leveraged Twitter to communicate at the local level, time-sensitive information about protest and police action. They also found that users relied on these channels to facilitate interstate communication relating to the news media and narrative frames. In the 2015 study by Anastasia Kavita, the researcher found out that social media tended to blur the boundaries between the inside and the outside of the Occupy movement in a way that encouraged the values of inclusiveness and direct participation. Menstrupedia. In a society where issues like menstruation are considered a taboo and have many superstitions associated with it, the need to mainstream the discourses on the subject of menstruation has been a long-standing concern. Menstrupedia is one such endeavor to change the narrative around the subject. Using the digital media tools effectively, Menstrupedia is not short of a socio-culture movement aiming to alter perceptions and transform ideas about menstruation. Menstrupedia is a website with information on puberty, menstruation, hygiene myths, and other related things. The website is superbly illustrated and user-friendly. Its primary objective is to confront the stigma around the subject of menstruation. Besides the main website, the movement also has a visual quick guide, a question and answer forum, blog, YouTube channel, and a comic. Challenges and problems of digital activism. Digital technologies have emerged to be very instrumental to register dissent and organize movements. Internet can be conceptualized as public space which mainstreams marginalized voices. However, the problem of digital divide, unequal access, and linguistic barriers pose umpteen challenges to the objectives of digital activism. Additionally, anonymity and fake profiles can create issues of credibility and provoke reactions with damaging consequences. Hence, critical digital literacy is very important so that the impact of digital activism brings about the much needed social, political, and cultural transformation. Summary. Digital media is not bound by any geographic or physical boundaries. Hence, the participation can be global. The increasing popularity of social media, Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, among others, has made it possible for people to come together online to represent a cause, register dissent, and even organize protest. Using the digital medium, multimedia, internet, smartphones to strengthen social movements by means of providing new tools and capacities to not only support but also transform the way in which activists can interact with one another and other stakeholders can be referred to as digital activism. The 7 aspects that shape digital activism are transmedia storytelling, hacktivism, mobile phones, citizen journalism, collective intelligence, tactical media technique, and trolling. The following theoretical concepts explain digital activism in diverse ways: technological determinism, network societies, social movement theory. The problems of digital divide, unequal access, and linguistic barriers pose umpteen challenges to the objectives of digital activism. Additionally, anonymity and fake profiles can create issues of credibility and provoke reactions with damaging consequences. Hence, critical digital literacy is very important. For more information on the same, please go through the suggested readings in Quadrant 3 and try to answer the questions from Quadrant 4. Thank you.